Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the first episode of a new series on my channel called A Series of Series. This is going to be a new series on my channel, and it's basically me reading different book series. And for this episode, I am going to be reading The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I am so excited to be reading this because the last time I read this series was when Clockwork Princess came out, and I believe that was 2013. So I actually don't remember a lot about this series, and hence why I wanted to reread it. And also another reason why I wanted to reread it is that The Chain of Gold is coming out on the 3rd of March, and I haven't read the Dark Artifices series. It's an excuse to read the whole Shadowhunter Chronicles. So for this episode, I'm only going to be focused on the Infernal Devices, and I'm pretty sure the next episode, I'm going to be focusing on the Mortal Instruments. So stay tuned for that. First episode was supposed to be Harry Potter, but I wasn't in the right headspace in December, so I decided to cancel that episode. Also, have the 10th anniversary edition of Clockwork Angel, and it's beautiful. That's the spine, that's the back. It's beautiful, and I want to see if I can get the City of Bones 10th anniversary edition as well. All I remember from this series is that it was really funny, and I really liked the whole Tess, Will, and Jem dynamic. And I can't wait to go back into that world and revisit Tess, Will, and Jem. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. I just hit the 150 page mark, and I gotta say, I am really loving it. I forgot how much I missed the Shadowhunter world, and like Harry Potter, it's like coming home. It's such a familiar world to go back into. It's like you've been there before and you're revisiting your friends and family. It's such a nice feeling to have, and such a nice feeling to have going into 2020. You know, you're revisiting some of your favorite books that you've read so long ago. It's really nice. I also forgot how funny this book is. I think this series, The Infernal Devices, is much more funnier than The Mortal Instruments, and I really like it. I forgot how much I really like Will and Tessa's banter. I forgot how much I really like the Jem, Will, and Tessa dynamic. It fits really well compared to the whole Mortal Instruments gang. I don't know why, but I think a trio has much more better chemistry than a whole group of people. There's also a lot of, I don't know if it's called social commentary, but there's commentary on how that time period is with women, and it comes up a lot because Tessa is surprised by women Shadowhunters fighting and dressing up in trousers, and I think she's leaning more towards acceptance, whereas there's a contrast between her and Jessamine. And Jessamine knows all this, but she's leaning towards like her becoming a lady in society and wanting to catch a husband and like just live at home and provide for them. That's what Jessamine is thinking, and I like to see that contrast between that. It's interesting. And also the commentary really sticks to that time period and gives a little bit of authenticity to the story, and I really like it. Also, for this edition, Cassandra Clare actually wrote a little bit of like a letter to the readers, and she actually did a lot of research about London in the 1800s, so most of it is actually pretty accurate, which I really like. I didn't know that she did a lot of research for this, but it's really good and I really like it. So far, those are my thoughts, and I will update you when I finish the book. Hey guys, so I just finished the Clockwork Angel, and also, I don't know if you know, but I got a new camera. It's so cool. I love it. Anyway, so I finished the book. As I was saying before, I really love this world. I love coming back to it, and interacting with Jem, Will, Tess is just so good. And I forgot how funny this book is and how funny Tess and Will are. And I think Infernal Devices might be my favorite series of the Shadowhunter Chronicles so far. I have to read Mortal Instruments again to be sure, but I'm pretty sure I love Infernal Devices so much more. When I was reading this, I actually didn't remember who the Magister was. Also, this is not a spoiler episode. I won't spoil anything, and if I do, I will tell you if I'm spoiling anything. So, I didn't know who the Magister was going into this, and I like that little bit of mystery element into the series. I know it continues on to the second book, so I'm really excited for that little mystery. So one part of, like the climax of the book was a bit predictable. Like, I knew what was going to happen before it happened, not because I remembered what happened. It's because it was so blatantly obvious. You know what I mean? It was a bit predictable. But obviously, nostalgia, again, is heavy for this series, so nothing can do wrong for me. But I'm just throwing it out there. Also, with this book, I think I've mentioned Will is very sarcastic, very angsty, and we do find out what the reason is in the next book. But before we find out that, I think I know a lot of people, and me including when I first read the series, we didn't really like Will at all. But like Tessa as well, like we, in ourselves, we're like, but I really like him. He's so cute. But we really hate him because he's just so hateful and he's just so mean. And we don't like mean boys, guys. We don't like mean boys. Another thing I want to address, I remember looking at BookTube recently, and there was this thing going around where people were saying like sexist comments, racist comments, and like sexual abuse and that in fantasy is not warranted. And I personally think that it's up to the author because it is their book first and foremost. So if an author chooses to add in sexual abuse, racist comments, sexist comments, like this series in particular, which I found, which is what sparked this thought, they use the sexist comments and everything to stay true to the era, and it can also be characterization, it can be character motivation, you know, or it can be character development. Authors use those things for a reason. And if an author chooses not to use it, then by all means, don't use it. But I don't think we should chastise authors that do use it. It is necessary for them because it's their book. It's their choice. I also forgot to put in my ranking before I read this series somewhere, and I will put that here now. That's what I think my ranking is before I read this series. I will be putting my ranking after I reread this series at the end of the video. Now let's move on to the second book. I am reading Clockwork Prince now. I am about almost halfway. And I, again, really like it. I know people were complaining how it's a bit slow in the beginning. Yes, it's a bit slow in the beginning. It follows after the events of Clockwork Angel a few weeks after. And obviously, again, there's mystery. They have to do a bit of detective work. And yeah, it's a bit slow. But the love triangle keeps us going. I also really like Sophie's perspective not perspective, but we go into Sophie's thoughts a lot more in this book, which I really like. And because Sophie is one of my favorite characters as well. I really like her personality when we get to know her more. I also like Gideon. If you guys already read the book, you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Gideon Lightwood. I think he's my favorite male character. Oh no, I don't want to go that far. If I were to date one of them, I would date Gideon Lightwood He's just so handsome. I don't know. I prefer him better than Will if I were to date. My favorite character is still Will Herondale. Don't get me wrong. That's all the thoughts I have for this second book. So I will finish it and I will get back to you. Alright, so I finished The Clockwork Prince and I loved it so much. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. And you know how in my ranking before, how it's in the top spot and everything, and I feel like it's going to be in the top spot, but let me just read Clockwork Princess and then I'll tell you my full ranking at the end of the video, obviously. The reason why I love this book so much is we finally get to see Will's personality and we get to know him more, and we get to know Phil. We get to know Will without his facade. I won't tell you what it is or any spoilers or anything, but I'm just gonna say, like, we get to know Will without his facade and we get to know the real Will, and he is just my favorite characters. Out of all the characters in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, he is my favorite. He's strong, he's brave, he's humble, he's so loving to Tessa and everyone around him. I also really like, again, I said before, I really like the dynamic between Will, Tessa, and Jem. And also, it's just that everyone in the Institute, like Charlotte and Henry and Sophie, even Bridget and Cyril and Will, Tess, and Jem, they're a very tight-knit family. It's very emphasized in the last 2 books that they're a family. But compared to the Immortal Instruments, they just seem like very close friends rather than family. Because, I don't know, it's just in this book, it's just emphasized that they're a family. You just feel like they're a family. They're all just orphans that came together and became a family. It's just really endearing and it's really close to my heart and means so much to me. I really love it. They feel like my family too. It's really great. We also see how Tessa grows throughout this book compared to when she first came to the Institute in the first book. And she's at the halfway point now, and I really can't wait to pick up Clockwork Princess and see how she grows even further and becomes the woman that we all come to love and admire. With that said, I am now going to read Clockwork Princess, and I will see you at the halfway point. I don't think I am emotionally prepared for this, but nevertheless, let's get on with it. Lol, it's been a week since I finished Clockwork Princess and I haven't updated you. I was too into the book and I just forgot to vlog in between, and now I finished it, so I will tell you my thoughts. Obviously, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just loved the way it ended, and I can't wait for Chain of Gold to come out so I can have more London Institute content. I feel like London Institute is my favorite institute compared to the Immortal Instruments, the New York one. It's just the family bonds is what I really love. And I don't really see that in Immortal Instruments. I'm not sure why. It might just be me, but that's how I feel about it. Okay, so my ranking. It's basically the same. I mean, first it's going to be Clockwork Prince, second is Clockwork Princess, and the third is Clockwork Angel. It's gonna be the same as my old ranking, so nothing has changed. I just really love Clockwork Prince. Like I said, it's because we get to know Will more, and I really like that. So I won't be rereading the Mortal Instruments just because, one, there's 6 books and I don't really have enough time for that, and I want to read other books, and I've reread that series a lot of times before, so I'll just be looking at spoilery summaries online so I can just get my memory refreshed. But I will be reading the Dark Artifices series because I've never read that one before, and I will read that in February. So I will definitely be vlogging my experience then. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this type of series on my channel, like, comment below and tell me what other book series you want me to read. I would obviously love to read more of them. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of this and more of my content. I'll see you soon. Bye!